You loved our plant-based Mythbusters Part 1. This is Part 2. Here we go.
That's a tongue twister.
Hey everybody, this is Dylan.
And this is Reed.
We are all about making your plant-based diet easy to stick to forever so you don't fall off. This is not meant to be a short-term diet. This is a diet and a lifestyle forever and ever. Feel well, eat just like us. We are busting myths. These are common myths. I mean, this isn't stuff that we're just like coming up with. People say this garbage all the time.
I'm sure you heard it. Tell us what you heard in the comments below. The most ridiculous thing anyone's ever said to you.
We'll make more videos with the other myths that you've heard.
Myth number 1 is that all vegan food is healthy, which is definitely not true. There is a term that gets tossed around and it's called a junk food vegan. So you can totally be a junk food vegan, or you could eat a healthy, whole food, plant-based diet.
I was a junk food vegan for like 3 years before I realized that it wasn't healthy. And I actually started eating a vegan diet because I thought all I need to do is take out the animal products. And of course that is not the case. My weight was still going up, my cholesterol was still going up, even though I wasn't eating any cholesterol. What do you know?
Junk food is junk food, whether it's vegan or not. You're just gonna wanna stick to an oil-free, whole foods diet, and that's gonna be your healthiest way to live.
Stay away from all of the fake meat replacements. They're getting fancier and fancier and tasting more and more like meat, which is fine if you wanna enjoy it as a novelty once in a while. But in your everyday diet, you have got to get rid of the fake meats and cheeses, all of the processed junk. It is not healthy. Just because there are no animal products in it does not make it healthy. You want to ensure that you're eating recipes like the ones we make on our channel. We have hundreds. We've got a live cooking show. We'll show you how to make it if you don't know how, but there are tons of foods that are actually healthy.
Because I am personally an ethical vegan, I worked at a vegan restaurant and the food there was so unhealthy that they refused to come out with the calorie information and nutrition information because people thought they were eating health food. It was atrocious.
Yeah, vegan restaurants are not healthy. Anything that's vegan is also based off of plants, but you want to focus on the whole food part of it. Whole food plant-based is better. I really don't love that phrase at all. I like healthy whole plant food diet. I like a whole plant food diet. That's what I prefer. That makes it very clear that you're going to be eating pretty darn healthy if it's a whole plant food that you've started with.
It explains what you do eat, not what you don't eat.
Myth number 2 we often hear is that it's unsustainable or too hard or it's treated like a fad diet. This is nothing like a fad diet. In my opinion, a keto diet is unsustainable. You cannot eat that way for a long time. It will drive you insane.
Yeah.
Same with paleo and all these other fad diets. This one is actually sustainable. You can eat this way your whole life. We know because our ancestors ate this way. Yeah, there was some hunting involved in our natural history, but the bulk of our calories came from the things that we eat. The whole healthy starches, potatoes, all of the beans and whole grains, rice, all of these delicious, healthy, filling things were what our people ate from the beginning of time.
And another thing people say is that it's too hard. It's too hard to maintain this diet or maybe to cook this way. But think of all the things you just listed. Those are really easy to cook. It's really easy to boil potatoes, boil beans, boil rice.
It can be too hard if you're watching the wrong people on YouTube, but welcome in, you're watching us now. A lot of people will make these recipes way too complicated. That's why our entire message is about simplifying your healthy whole plant food diet. You don't want to be focusing on recreating grandma's old ancient souffle recipe. It's not going to happen in a healthy way. Even if you can make it healthy, it's going to take so many steps and all this complication. Forget about all that. Forget about recreating things. You might want to do that at first when you're just getting started and you're missing those old things, but these are like temporary holdover foods is what I call them. They're transition foods. But once you really get going, you're going to be making the simple, easy recipes like we make because you don't want to spend the rest of your life in the kitchen. You have to prepare your own food, but there are ways to do it really fast and easy, and that's what we're all about.
I don't know about you growing up, Dill, but the "you need dairy for strong bones" and the milk mustache ads were shoved down my throat at elementary school. Myth number 4 is that you need dairy for strong bones.
No, you sure don't. In fact, dairy makes your bones weaker. Don't eat dairy for strong bones. Eat healthy whole foods. That's what you need. Eat real whole food forms of calcium. You don't need to drink a bunch of fortified milk and all this garbage. There's nothing healthy about it. The detrimental health effects far outweigh any benefit that you might get from one little nutrient in the milk. The healthiest athletes are the ones eating a whole plant food diet. Watch Game Changers on Netflix. You mentioned it in part 1. Debunked.
You know, Dr. Clapper said says all the time, cow's milk is made for baby cows. It was designed to grow a baby cow into a large cow. It was not designed for us, and we don't really drink milk after a certain age anyway.
Yeah, after the first couple of years of life, we aren't drinking mama's breast milk anymore, and we're also not buying breast milk in the stores. If you have to drink milk, it should at least be the human-made milk, shouldn't it?
Wouldn't you think?
It's too sweet anyway, you know what I mean?
Why do you know that?
Let's move on. Another myth that really only takes a second here is that it's not evidence-based, or the evidence shows that meat and dairy are better. Some people are like, oh, the Mediterranean diet has been shown to be the healthiest human diet. Sure, a Mediterranean diet is going to be better than a standard American diet that's only processed junk food, but that doesn't mean that it's the ideal diet. You're still going to probably hang on to more weight than you want to. You're probably not going to get off your cholesterol and blood pressure meds if you're eating a lot of seafood, processed oils, wine, and all of that. So focus on a whole plant food diet. Now that is really the ideal diet. The evidence shows it, and you can test it out for yourself, and you're gonna feel great, just like I did.
Exactly, Dill. Why not have the evidence be your own health and well-being?
I still think it's important to see that this is a credible, real thing from the doctors. Our favorite books would be Dr. McDougall's The Starch Solution. All of Dr. T. Colin Campbell's books, from the China study to Whole to the Future of Nutrition. Dr. Neil Barnard, excellent books. Dr. Dean Ornish, excellent books. You can see for yourself that this is the best way to get off the meds, get your weight back to where you want it, and live a life mobile, happy, without pain, feeling great.
I'm not the kind of person that needs scientific evidence. Like, just read the testimonials. Go in our Facebook group and read what people have to say. We get tons of emails all the time saying, I lost 30 pounds, I lost 60 pounds, I'm off my meds now. It's just, how does it make you feel?
There are enough testimonials at this point to where it's pretty obvious, even without reading like the scientific evidence, but the evidence is there regardless.
Another myth is that it's unsustainable for kids to eat this way, and that's simply not true either. There's no reason why kids can't eat the same healthy, whole food, plant-based diet that we eat and get an abundance of everything they need.
It all comes down to make sure they're getting enough calories. It's easier to give kids a lot of calories by putting in oil and meat and all of that. And I'll be honest, kids can get away with it a lot better than most of the people that watch our channel, which are older. But that doesn't mean they should be eating it. Set your kids up for the greatest start of their lives possible and give them healthy food. If they're hungry, feed them more food and more food. Our kid eats so much food, it's mind-blowing. I don't know where he puts it, and he's only one. But he eats all the same stuff that we eat. Maybe you give them a little more calories because they're growing kids, and so they need maybe some more fat, starch, whatever it is, just more of it in general.
Yeah, we do skew to more calorie dense when we feed our son. You know, I give him avocado toast and more rich whole fats like that.
Kids don't sit still that long, so if you're gonna try to get them lots of calories, it's helpful to skew a little bit more calorie dense, just to get more calories in a shorter amount of time. Next myth is that soy is problematic, or that it causes cancer, or that it gives men boobs. Soy is extremely healthy. I am a proud soy boy. There's tons of nutrition in these foods. Our species has been eating soy for generations and generations, and it is great for your health. In fact, the evidence shows that soy prevents cancer. It doesn't cause cancer or anything like it.
I don't know how this myth got started, but it's ridiculous.
Find some healthy, minimally processed versions of soy, which would be tofu, tempeh. You can season those and make them delicious. Marinate them. Edamame, just plain old edamame, is a great one. Soy milk is my favorite milk to cook with. It has more neutral flavor. You can find it in the stores without having tons of added sweeteners and gums and all of that. Soy is the way to go.
It's a joy to consume soy.
Soy does have a little more calories from fat. It's not necessarily more calorie dense than other starches, but it does have a little bit more fat. So if you're working on weight loss, sometimes it's a good idea to minimize your soy intake.
Another myth is that since our diet is high in starches, aka carbohydrates, that this causes diabetes.
This is wrong. Diabetes, generally speaking, is caused by too rich of food, the fat especially. There are some excellent sources of information about diabetes from within our community. Plant-based books, Dr. Neil Barnard's Reversing Diabetes, something like that, and then the other one's called Mastering Diabetes. This will teach you how to control your diabetes with way less insulin, to reverse insulin resistance, and that it's caused by the fat. It's caused by the rich diet, not from carbs. When you already are either pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetes, having carbs can be a problem, but you just have to learn how to reverse the insulin resistance, and then it's no problem at all. These are all the healthiest foods. They didn't cause diabetes, it's just that they cause issues with blood sugar if you've already got it. So you've just got to learn how to reverse this, and then you can eat this healthy diet, feel well, lose weight, get off the meds, everything will happen for you, but it does take a little bit of learning if you're already in some big trouble.
I think in general, carbohydrates get a bad reputation, but that's because people are thinking about, white sugar or donuts, which actually donuts have a lot of saturated fat in them too. But whole carbohydrates like potatoes and legumes and rice, I mean, we've said it a million times in this video and other videos, that's what our ancestors ate. That's the healthiest food to eat.
And that's why we call it starches, because carbs, like you said, they have a bad reputation. It means so many things. All the processed carbs, the junk food carbs, they're also full of fat. They're full of sugar. They're full of salt. These are not whole foods, and they absolutely can cause problems with diabetes. If you're experiencing pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes, there's no doubt you're gonna have to put some work in to understand how to reverse this, but it's very reversible. You can get off the meds and feel well again. I promise you that.
Consult your doctor.
What other myths have you heard? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll talk about it in our next video. Thanks for watching this one. Watch more videos like it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.